The first of those, I would like to move out who I am. Secondly, I would like to share my story on my involvement with the Investors Club. And lastly, I want to share one of my dreams with you. And in sharing my dream with you, what I want to do is sort of draw an analogy to how I think the Investors Club can work for you. Okay, so James Crowe is my name. I'm 29 years of age. I'm a support member and investor with the Investors Club. I was married in June, and I've been employed for 7 years. In the year 2000, I graduated from university, and I was sick of having no money. So at that stage, I decided I needed a job. So I applied for some jobs, and luckily, very shortly, I had a job. And this job involved me travelling around, and because I was travelling around, I was able to save a fair bit of money. I didn't have any dependents and that sort of thing. So within a reasonably short amount of time, I had my own money, which for me at that point was fairly significant. About 2003, I started to look at where I was and where I wanted to be in life, and I realised there was a bit of a difference between where I was heading and where I wanted to be. So I realised I was probably going to have to make some changes in my life. In the year 2004, the money that I'd saved, I invested in a residential property with my cousin. We bought in a little townhouse there. And then in 2005, I was travelling for work, and I was on a flight from Perth to Melbourne, and I took my seat on the aircraft, and for whatever reason, I just started talking to a lady across the aisle from me. And very soon we were talking about property, and because obviously I was very keen to find out more about property, we started talking, and she was able to show me. She told me why she was in Perth. She introduced her. Her name was Anne. She was from Melbourne. She said that she was in Perth to buy some property for herself, and she was helping some other people buy property. And we enjoyed a good conversation with that flight. And then at the end of the flight, she asked me if I'd like to receive some more information about property, and I said, sure, I'd love to. So that was in 2005. I received that information very happily for 2 years. Got newsletters, read the newsletters, and really enjoyed the information about it, and was really excited by the prospect of perhaps beginning to invest in property. In 2007, my wife and I bought my cousin out of that townhouse that we purchased in Innerlew. And for anybody that held property in Perth from that period, 2004 through 2007, would know that we had some pretty good growth. And I knew at that point that was the time for me and for my wife Carol to start looking at purchasing some property. So as soon as we started settling the property between my cousin and us, I investigated. I phoned Anne Greeny, who was in Melbourne, and I started speaking to her about how I might go forward and invest in property. And pretty soon we figured out that it was pretty difficult to talk about a lot of the concepts over the telephone. And so what Anne did was she referred me to Garth, and we spoke with Garth for probably a couple of months, and then in late October 2007, Caroline and I settled on our first Investors Club property in the suburb of Ormo, which is in the Gold Coast Shire. We bought a house and land package for $450,000, and we had a very easy time in terms of the settlement, and we had tenants in that property within a week. Since that time, we've had solid capital growth in that property, and we've also seen some increases in the rental returns. And we're very happy, and from that point, just going through the process, we've then moved on, and we're now, in the next year, we'll be purchasing 2 more properties. So we've been very excited by the process, and we're looking forward to building that property portfolio and retiring or finding financial independence as soon as possible. So that's my story and my involvement in the club. My dream that I have is I'm a surfer. I enjoy surfing, and one of the dreams I have is one day I'd love to surf 50-foot waves. Okay, I don't know. Has anybody here in the audience seen images on TV or in the media of those guys surfing massive waves?
Yes.
Yeah, everybody's there. Yeah, they're pretty crazy. Yeah. So, that's my dream. And I want to ask you another question. And the question I want to ask you is, who thinks that people that do that sort of thing sort of just turn up on the weekends and you know, they might happen to get a 50-foot bloke? You know, who thinks that they do that? No, they don't. That's obvious. These guys are athletes and women. There's women out there that do it. And what allows those people to be successful is that they surround themselves with a bunch of people that are able to tell them where and when they need to be to get those waves. They have people that train them physically. They have people that train them emotionally. They have people that provide equipment that they need to do that and maintain that equipment. And they also, what's the other thing I was going to say? Yeah, when they're in the water, they have a whole group of people around to ensure that they're safe. So that's my dream. And what I want to, and the analogy that I like to use and that I've used with the Investors Club is that if we can take that surfer that surfs those huge waves and that surfer that's surrounded by that network of people, and we can just put that person over here and we're going to change it, we're going to call that person a property investor. What I believe the club can do for you is surround you with a whole bunch of people that ensure that you can be the most successful property investor that you can be. And the people that surround you are people like property researchers who find the right property in the right place. We have settlement agents that ensure that all your legal bases are covered. We have leasing coordinators who ensure that your property is tenanted and living with the right tenants into your property. We also have finance people that will set you up so your finances going forward are set up in the appropriate manner to build that portfolio. And finally, probably most importantly, you also have your support member who is always there to assist you to get through any barriers that you might have in going forward. So, yeah, thanks very much for listening to me, guys. I appreciate your time. And if you want to have a chat at the end of the session, I'll be more than happy to have a chat with you. So, thanks very much, guys.